Blackburn Rovers, 6th round replay. Of course, there is the possibility of an all-Sheffield semi-final on Wednesday, again at 7. Sheffield Wednesday play Derby County. Both those, of course, to the finish. Hope you've enjoyed it. From all of us at Old Trafford, it's goodbye for now.
Ford Super Sunday, only on Sky Sports, in association with Foster's. The action starts here. Sky Sports has it all in April. World Cup football.
Wonderful stuff for England.
England's next home qualifying match will be the stiffest test so far. They'll have to turn on the magic against Holland, one of the most gifted European sides. Rugby League. The Great Britain team is in unbeatable form.
Little beauty.
A record victory on French soil with 9 tries means the visitors will have a lot to fear in the return match at Headingley. Golf. For 3 weekends in April, exclusively, the US PGA Tour continues on its course.
Wow. It's perfect.
Testing times for the top players at the toughest greens and blues. Football. The FA Cup glory trail is nearing its end. Look forward to a live semi-final and enjoy the tense closing weeks of the Premier League season. And it's all exclusively live. And with lots more, it looks like your diary's full in April. Sky Sports, it's the only place to be.
With each new day, you find a way to be your best.
Gillette Sensor for the best shave possible.
You know you gotta be a little better than the rest.
Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to every detail of every face. Gillette Sensor. And now there's Gillette Series Aftershave Gel. It moisturizes so your face feels comfortable all day.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Now at Burger King, you can have a bacon double cheeseburger for only 99p, your way. Extra Ferrari, 6 months in Hawaii. Buy what you want. Enter the competition with 100,000 pounds to give away when you buy a bacon double cheeseburger for only 99p. Personally, I'd rather have mine than extra TV, toaster,
You want it your way. At BK, you got it.
Get up, get up, get up.
To Kellogg's Pop-Tarts, put them in the toaster.
Be-bop-bop-pop.
Revolutionize your breakfast.
Give 'em a shot.
Real fruit flavors and a chocolate one too. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts, so hot they're cool.
Oh, no!
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Gillette introduces an aftershave that actually conditions your skin. New Gillette Series Aftershave Gel. Its skin conditioners moisturize to help prevent dryness and promote smoothness. For incredible comfort, new Gillette Series Aftershave Gel.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Take a roller coaster ride in March with the Steven Seagal season.
Come get some.
Steven Seagal, with his own brand of justice, is on Sky Movies Plus this month.
Be watching.
To subscribe, call 0506 460000. 0506 460000. This is Sky Sports, a part of the British Sky Broadcasting Network.
Sky Sports presents the Stones Bitter Championship, taking rugby into a different league.
Premiership places are the focus of attention from here on in, and today two sides who'll fancy a trip to Old Trafford in May. Warrington face Halifax, an Aussie coach against the best of British, exclusive on Sky Sports. Rugby League's decision to go down a two-division path from next season means that clubs like Warrington can forget all about the big drop. But Brian Johnson, their coach, was looking for a top 8 place anyway. It's his last chance for a major honour this season, and after their January appearance on the big league at Castleford, not too many people would bet against them getting there. Teenager Lee Penny has been one of the finds of the season. Moving in at Halifax that night was Malcolm Reilly, and the British coach has seen his new team establish themselves in the top 4. Reilly's regime is starting to pay off. Their Premiership credentials were there for all to see, as they came within a whisker of knocking Wigan off the Wembley Trail. Just Joe Lydon's drop goal was the difference between glory or failure. But that one-point defeat was forgotten 7 days ago against Castleford. And this win, and one against Hull 4 days earlier, means Halifax are now 4th. The stars are out tonight. Welshman Alan Bateman's forced his way back to international recognition, and Graham Hallas is starting to believe in himself again. Australian Greg Mackey has come back to Warrington this season. He can torment any side, and his duel at halfback with the former Warrington man Paul Bishop will be one of the features of the game. The Wire face the facts on Sunday night's Big League. Kevin Ellis has had a late fitness test on a groin injury. He has been passed fit to play, and he takes his place in the Warrington side. Let's confirm the lineup now. 18-year-old Lee Penny is the fullback. On the wing, the club's leading scorer is Neil Kenyon. In the centre, it's Alan Bateman, the Welsh international, substituting Carcassonne last Sunday. Chris Rudd is his centre partner. Rudd wears 4. Mark Forster is on the wing in 5, a try in the 1986 Premiership final against Halifax. Kevin Ellis takes his place at stand-off half. Ellis will wear 6. The Australian Greg Mackey is his half-back partner. Mackey is in 7. And up front, St Helens-born Neil Harmon wears 8. 21 New Zealand test caps for Dwayne Mann, the Warrington hooker. The front row completed by Gary Chambers in 10. Gary Sanderson is in the second row, alongside the man who had his benefit year here at Warrington last season, Paul Cullen. And Kelly Shelford completes the lineup. The New Zealand international is the loose forward, and the coach, the Australian Brian Johnson. Halifax, they are one of the formed team in the First Division. They've won 5 of their last 7, losing only to St Helens and Wigan. They must fancy their chances here at Wilderspool today. Warren Wilson is the fullback. It's his rare chance this season. Gary Richardson is on the wing in 2. Graham Hallas is in the centre in 3. And John Bentley is alongside him. Bentley moves off the wing because of injuries. He's in 4. Mark Preston is on the wing in 5. Roy Littleton gets his chance because Mark Bailey is out, the stand-off half. Look out for Paul Bishop. He's a fiery little character. He's the scrum half in 7. Great Britain international Carl Harrison is the prop forward in the front row, alongside the hooker Roy Southernwood, who'll wear 9. The Australian Mike McLean completes the front row in 10. Gary Lord is in the second row. He wears 11, alongside Mark Perrott. And the team lineup is completed by Gary Devorty, the loose forward in 13, and the Halifax and Great Britain coach, Malcolm Reilly. Carl Harrison, the Halifax captain, in the green and white strip. Changed because, of course, the usual blue and white hoops would clash with Warrington's home colours. Important match for Halifax. Malcolm Reilly really does have designs on the Premiership final at Old Trafford. His side weakened because of injury and flu today, but they will believe after their recent run that they are good enough to win here at Wilderspool. And Mark Preston is in a rich vein of form, 10 tries in his last 11 games. He joined Halifax from Wigan in the summer of 1991, having scored 57 touchdowns in 84 appearances for Wigan. And Warrington, in the primrose yellow and blue, come out for this fixture. 9th in the table before today, and one of the biggest characters in the Wilderspool camp, Ocker there, the kit man. It's his birthday today, he tells me. Whether it's the truth, I don't know, but he says it's his birthday. Substitutes for Warrington, 2 forwards, Basil Richards and Gary Tees. And Halifax have got David Cooper, the fullback, and Adam Fogarty, former heavyweight boxer, on the bench for them. Greg Mackey, such an important cog in this Warrington team. 2 drop goals in 2 Sky games at Hull and Hull Kingston Rovers. Man of the match in the Premiership final defeat of Widnes for Hull. An ever-present for Warrington this season. And his battle with Paul Bishop should be one of the features of today's encounter. 90 goals for Bishop so far this season. A fiery character. He was involved in a bit of a bust-up with Lee Crooks in the match against Castleford last week. And he received a touch of admonishment from the Halifax coaching staff. But he keeps his place in the side. And he too, at the hub of everything that Halifax get up to. The match referee, David Atkin, one of the youngest in the big league. It's his first year in the middle, and he's just 28 years old. Apparently, we said when we last saw him on the big league on Sky that he was 38. I know this game puts years on you, but not 10 of them. Carl Harrison, Great Britain international, a 1992 Lions tourist. He replaced Ian Lucas in Australia. And we're just about ready to get this match underway. Warrington, one of only 2 teams to win at Wigan this season, against Halifax, one of the form teams in the big league. It's going to be Halifax who will get us underway. And Paul Bishop with the kickoff. Right underneath it is Kevin Ellis, and this is Paul Cullen. Met by the second row, Perrott and Harrison and Cullen involved in fisticuffs already.
Referee David Atkin, very quick there to defuse anything. You can see them, it was Cullen that threw the first one. Harrison obliged by throwing one back. It's amazing how the retaliator so often gets penalised, and to me that appeared to be the case.
Paul Cullen, he is a fiery, tough character in that Warrington second row. And there's Harrison, straight back into the tackling alongside Gary Lord in the headgear. This is Mackey, and that's Neil Harmon. One thing Malcolm really has been working on since he arrived at Thrum Hall is the defence. Now Sanderson.
I just get the feeling, Eddie, that this is going to be a real tough encounter. And that shows you some indication of how the coaches really look at the videotapes. Gary Devorti there picked out that move out perfectly.
It was a great tackle too, wasn't it? It's the last tackle in this set of 6 for Warrington. Ball is dabbed downfield. And fine touch.
Shelford nicely placed kick there. Always an awkward ball. Can bounce anywhere.
Halifax and Bishop with the feed. And that is Roy Litherland, debuting the Regal Trophy in November against Nottingham. Halifax winning that day 76-6. This is Mike McLean, man from the Gold Coast in Australia. And in the dummy half, Roy Southernwood. Now Carl Harrison. Cullen was in very quickly. Neat blindside run from Southernwood, and he ducked under the swinging arm of Neil Harmon on the last tackle. Back to Bishop. Bishop downfield. Mark Forster is there. Mark Forster, a try in the 1986 Premiership final against Halifax for Warrington. Now Kelly Shelford. 9 New Zealand Test caps for Shelford, the Warrington loose forward. Dwayne Mann, His New Zealand international colleague finds Gary Chambers, and Chambers grounded on the halfway line.
You can see quite clearly there the Halifax defence moving up really quickly.
Pass from Cullen was perhaps a shade forward, but the referee David Atkin allowing play to continue. That's Mackey, he finds Ellis. Ellis with a little kick over the top. One for Harman to chase. Warren Wilson, though, is there, the fullback. Takes it confidently. And Wilson made his first appearance of the season in the game against Wigan.
Good play there by Kevin Ellis, but really, it shouldn't have been a prop forward that was chasing through. Should have been the three-quarter. They just lost it there. You could see that Halifax didn't have the sweeper in position. That was a chance gone begging there. It would have been anything but a prop forward. I think they would have retained possession.
Now Bishop, and he tries a little angled kick downfield. Oh, that's not bad either. It finds touch just a couple of metres the right side of the corner flag.
Excellent play by Paul Bishop. So vital, the kicking game these days. He certainly is a master of that. Can become a little bit impetuous at times. I think with the new coach, Malcolm Reilly, that will be worked out, I'm sure.
This is Neil Kenyon. John Bentley, you'll notice, number 4 is back there in the tackle with Preston, playing in the centres today because Greg Austin, the Australian who scores so many tries for Halifax, is out with the flu. Now Sanderson for Warrington. Good tackling by Lord and Harrison. Greg Mackey spins away from one and then straight into Lord. Mike McLean with a bit of help brings him down. Dwayne Mann to Gary Chambers. Chambers releases the ball to Harman. He finds Ellis. Ellis gets it to Bateman. Bateman, well, he was looking for Penny. The ball dropped into no man's land, and Bateman, quick thinking, he managed to retrieve the situation. And now Warrington have a penalty.
Swinging arm there by John Bentley. A little run round here. You can see he brings the full back in, but not the best of passes by Alan Bateman, who's having a fine season. But a silly mistake by John Bentley. Swinging arm, allowing Warrington with the possession again.
Ellis with the link, and he finds Bateman, his Welsh international colleague. Bateman in field to Kelly Shelford. Shelford with Devorty all over him. That's good defence from Devorty. It was Mark Perrott, rather. Perrott getting the tackle in on Shelford. This is Cullen. Now Dwayne Mann. Dwayne Mann to Greg Mackey. Mackey jinking and Mackey scoring. Devorty that time was not the man at home. He was just beaten.
Stone's bit of championship replay. Wonderful play by Greg Mackey. Using the step, taking himself back onto the blind side. The shift in defence, moving across. Oh, excellent there. Look how he steps and steps again. No chance for Roy Southernwood. Devorty arrives too late, but didn't he read it well? Notice how he throws it. You'll see the Halifax defence go across. The step round the hook of Southernwood. Individual brilliance. Well-worked try. And that was all brought about by that lovely break by Alan Bateman.
Greg Mackey has not missed a match for Warrington this season since he arrived for this, his second spell. But it's only his 3rd try of the season. But he is so good in a constructive sense for Warrington. So Chris Rudd with the goal-kicking responsibilities. 2 tries and 2 goals against Halifax here last season. An under-21 international in 1991. And Rudd with his first goal attempt of the afternoon, and he's got it clean as a whistle. Warrington with the advantage, 6-0. Seven and a half minutes gone then, and 6-0, Warrington are ahead. Cullen collects the kick-off on the full, makes 10 yards progress, before it's brought down by Harrison, who we've seen plenty of today already, and Southernwood. Mann with a neat little jinking run from dummy half.
Yeah, they're running their own little battle, aren't they? Cullen and Carl Harrison. And I think we might see a little bit of fireworks from those two later on.
This is Gary Chambers. Gets the ball away well to Dwayne Mann. But the options were restricted for Mann. He just took the tackle from Lord and Southernwood. Mackey to Shelford, to Ellis. And that's Neil Kenyon. That's just checking. It's Chris Rudd out there. This is Ellis. Tapped the ball downfield. And it went over the shoulder of the Halifax man, and Ellis claiming that the Halifax player got a touch.
Beautiful play by the halfback. He's a talented player, that there's no doubt, the Welsh international Kevin Ellis. He saw it on the blind side. Actually, it was a bad move by the centre, Graham Hallis, who came out onto the open, left him oceans of space to get that kick away.
Bishop at acting halfback. Mike McLean being asked to do the hard work. Now Mark Perrott. It's good tackling this though from Warrington, and Halifax have had to do their fair share. This is Harrison now, and again Cullen in on him very, very quickly. Litherland gets the ball to Devorty, and that's Warren Wilson who's joined the line.
Chimed in well did the fullback there. Devorty just bringing him close to him. Couldn't make the break though.
Bishop with the kick downfield under pressure from Greg Mackey, but still managed to get it in.
Once again, an excellent kick. Paul Bishop, a major cog in this Halifax attacking machine.
It's a lovely spring-like day here in Warrington. We've had 10 minutes gone, the home side basking in the sunshine and ahead 6 points to 0. And the referee penalises Graham Hallis.
Well, the winger Forster made a meal of it also, but it wasn't as though Hallis was keen to get away from him.
That was Warrington's third penalty. Halifax have yet to have one.
That won't be pleasing their coach Malcolm really. 3 silly penalties have allowed Warrington to pile the pressure upon them.
Good hands from Warrington. Ellis now. Looked right. There was no support there, so had to take the tackle. Sanderson. Now Kelly Shelford. Kenyon. Neat bit of thinking from Kenyon. And Warren Wilson had moved over to snuff the danger out. But look at the swarming attack from Warrington there.
Nice play by Kenyon. Warrington quite happy to work something out. There you can see the kick through. But it was good positioning by the fullback Warren Wilson. Just noticing that the Warrington side area, they're quite happy to switch the ball back inside near the play of the ball. And that's a bad mistake by the hooker. There you can see it. Well, maybe it did go back, but either way, it was a fumble. David Atkin deeming it was a knock-on.
So Warrington get the possession from the scrum. A chance to exert a bit more pressure here with Chambers. Now that was a good ball from Harman to Cullen, and Cullen got the ball out to the far side. And Halifax working hard to smother the danger.
This is scintillating stuff, Eddie, from Warrington. They just really are keeping it alive. They're buzzing.
Sanderson. He picks himself up. Dwayne Mann's the dummy half. Greg Mackey through another gap. They couldn't bring him down. He gets the ball out to Chris Rudd, and there's the second Warrington try. Greg Mackey scored one, and Greg Mackey has created one.
Stones for the championship replay. I just mentioned that Warrington were keeping it alive. They've got to stop this man. The second time he's made the break. I thought he'd bombed it there. Ellis was on the inside, but he had good support in the centre, Chris Rudd. Well worked try, but when this man starts running the angles and starts stepping, look at it there. It was Mark Pettit that just should have had him, but he couldn't. Could see there Southernwood perhaps had just blocked the passage on the inside, but Chris Rudd was there. Excellent support play, but this man Greg Mackey is really on song.
Chris Rudd must enjoy playing Halifax. A couple of tries last season against them. Here at Wilderspool, under 21 international in 1991, he managed a record 8 goals against France at Limoux that day. But Greg Mackey, certainly the man who is at the moment proving the thorn in Halifax's side. Rudd with this conversion attempt has pulled it a bit flat, didn't really have a chance. And so it's 10-0 Warrington, and we've had 14.5 minutes play.
Sliding defence, you can see it all moving that way going forward, but this man hangs back to second rower Mark Perrott, and this is what happens. The gap appears, he has the speed, just slips it away. Fine piece of football. Great try.
And another mistake from Halifax and Paul Bishop. This kick-off going out on the full. We saw that on Friday night at St Helens a couple of occasions, and it means it's a penalty to the opposing side, right on the centre spot.
Very undisciplined performance so far from Halifax, giving away silly penalties, and that really is a gift from the kick-off. They've never really been allowed to get into this game. Warrington are controlling it.
And there's a slight delay because that second ball has come back on the pitch. Malcolm really watching from the stand on that far side and not enjoying what he's seeing so far. Mackey, Shelford, Bateman drops it, and it was a knock-on. Well, the Warrington public do not agree with that, and Bateman was facing his own post. You make your mind up.
Oh, it was a knock-on. The ball is projected forward, no doubt about it. Well, it was a set move that Warrington were working upon. A little bit overconfidence there. Bateman just overran that pass.
Bentley finds Warren Wilson. He gets the ball to Graham Hallis. Hallis thought for a moment about bringing Gary Richardson into it, but hung on and was then clobbered by 4 Warrington players. Bentley from dummy half. The winger playing in the centre, former Leeds man. Bishop. Perrott. And the penalty count confirmation, it's now 4-0. Bishop again. Devorty. McLean took that one-handed, but as he took it, Kelly Shelford took him round the ankles. Bishop to Litherland. Little dink over the top from Litherland. Inventive play. It bounced off the shoulder of Greg Mackey, and Halifax just couldn't capitalise.
Nice play by the youngster Roy Litherland there. Good job that Mackey was in that position in the sweeper. It was pretty fast, we've seen there. It really did explode off the mark. Unlucky not to retrieve that.
It's Warrington's feed because it was a Halifax knock-on. Dwayne Mann at dummy half. This is Gary Sanderson. Warrington have had an inconsistent season, and the last 5 games really has mirrored the time that they've had in the big league. As Bateman tries to get away from the clutches of Mark Preston, but couldn't do so, and there's another penalty to Warrington.
Mike McLean obviously offside. There you can see, not even marking in front. Got to get behind him there. Quite rightly so. Referee David Atkin penalised him.
Well, Halifax having a problem here, but just let me emphasise again the inconsistency of Warrington's season, mirrored in the last 5 games. Victory followed by defeat, followed by victory, defeat and victory. But they're enjoying the better of the opening exchanges here at Wilderspool, and they're 10 metres away from the Halifax posts. Dwayne Mann is the dummy half. This is Greg Mackey. He turns it back to Shelford. Shelford through the middle. Good tackling from Harrison. But Warrington are rolling forward again with Mackey over the top to Cullen. Another try. Mackey has been involved in them all. He's now created 2. He scored the first, and Mackey's having a field day.
Stones bit of championship replay. Show you the skills again. Warrington running at the angles. That's what he's done. He sucked in the 6th, Roy Litherland there. A simple try. Paul Cullen. It's all about running the angles, sucking in the defence. That's what he does. There you could see number 6 from Halifax get sucked in. The gap was so wide. He couldn't fail to score. Enjoyment plus, and rightly so. It's the Greg Mackey show so far.
Paul Cullen, try number 3 of the season. Warrington's longest serving player. 1982 coach tour to Australia for Paul Cullen. And Chris Rudd adds the extra 2. So Warrington have taken a real grip on this match. Warrington 16, Halifax 0. Warrington with an eye on the top 8. Ahead by 16 points to 0. We are midway through this first half. And it seems to me, Mike, that with that decision taken at Rugby League headquarters last week to revert to 2 divisions, which means no relegation from the big league this season, the pressure has suddenly been lifted from Warrington, and they are revelling in it.
Well, that might be so, but the major fact is that they are playing scintillating football. They're keeping this ball alive. They're running at the angles, and they're just ripping this defence apart.
Good quick hands-on show too. Sanderson eventually being brought to ground. And look at that possession statistic there. 71.5% for Warrington. And Halifax trailing in the wake here of Ellis, who finds Dwayne Mann. And it was a good job that Mark Perrott got there to bring him down. But here's Mackey. Oh, it's the Greg Mackey show! He's having the time of his life.
It's all about keeping this ball alive, and the Stones bit of championship replay shows you Kevin Ellis through to the hooker, Dwayne Mann. Doesn't have the legs, but he does play the ball quickly, even though that Mark Pettit was trying to keep him down, and this man sets off. I'll take the step. It's Cracky Mackey. Unbelievable opening to this game. This man is explosive, and is he in top form or what? Beautiful, quick play of the ball brought this about, but it was the skill of the step. Nothing the youngster Litherland could do to stop that. That was skill supreme.
Greg Mackey wasn't the most popular man in this part of the world when he left Warrington when he was here first time after half a dozen matches and went to Hull, but they love him now. And Chris Rudd with another conversion attempt, and he's got that one too. It's going Warrington's way in a big way, 22-0.
This is what happens when you have a quick play of the ball. How many double-decker buses can you get through there? This guy sets off, and one step, there it goes. The poor lad is all on his own. Nothing to stop him.
His first 2-try performance for Warrington for Greg Mackey. I fancy there's a few more tries in him too. And Warrington 22-0 up. They've scored an average of a point per minute. Brian Johnson with a big smile on his face, and he hasn't been laughing too much this season, it must be said.
Well, it gave me the impression, Eddie, they're looking as though even he can't believe it. But it's an explosive start to Warrington. Full credit to them. They really have kept it alive. Halifax defence have got no answer.
There's a big travelling contingent of Halifax supporters in this Wilderspool crowd this afternoon, and there are many, many glum faces on those terraces. This was not expected. Bishop could not pick that ball up first time and release the winger Richardson. But Halifax do have the ball, and that's important. They've seen very little of it so far this half. McLean with the run, but great tackling from Warrington. They certainly look keen for work and the hard work today. Harrison now slips away from Harmon, but can't get away from Ellis and Cullen. Now Halifax showing an attack for the first time. Devorty, try Bentley! John Bentley!
Stone's been a championship replay. What a classic game we're having so far. Nice step by Devorty. Came about by a good forward run by Carl Harrison. Slips the ball away. Good support play by John Bentley. Long pass from Bishop. The loose forward. Throws the dummy inside. Attracts the defence. Oh, that's a good try. Well taken, well supported by Bentley. Halifax are back in this game. We're set for a cracker.
John Bentley scored 19 tries last season for Leeds. He was their top scorer, but it didn't prevent him moving just down the M62 to Halifax. And I just wonder whether perhaps that is the moment when Halifax start to believe in themselves. Bishop into the sunshine. He knows the route to the post here at Wilderspool, as he proves there. Halifax have shown in an attack for the first time, and they've scored.
This is what happens when one man attracts three into the tackle. There they are into Devorty. He makes the half break. The support is there. Bentley's in. The fight back is on.
John Bentley with the try then. Perhaps the springboard for more to come from Halifax. 25.5 minutes gone, 22-6. No shortage of points, no shortage of big hits like that one on Chambers, on Richardson. Rich entertainment.
Well, the big problem for Halifax is that they've never really got into this game. They've had a lot of possession. It's been all Warrington, but what a great fight back so far. That should lift their spirits no end.
It has been the away form that has been a problem for Halifax. They've won only 3 and lost 6 of their 9 away from home before today. And I must say, the start Warrington made, it looked like they weren't going to improve on that record. But who knows? The hack forward was from Devorty, and it was a good job that Alan Bateman was there. He managed to shepherd the ball dead in goal. Devorty thought he was on to a 4-point lead.
Good thinking by Devorty. When the ball is put down onto the floor, you can strike for it. And as you mentioned, Eddie, Alan Bateman to the rescue. They've not given up the ghost in Halifax.
It was a high-scoring match when these two last met in the big league in November, 21-20. And Paul Bishop dropped goal, settled the issue that day. It's 22-6 now, and there's plenty of time for this Halifax fight back to gain momentum. McLean. Southernwood to Bishop, to Devorty. Harrison making the run on the angle. Perrott couldn't hold on to it. Wasn't the best pass in the world, to be fair.
Well, this time it was Halifax running at the angles, but as you mentioned, the pass was awful.
Rudd gets the ball out to Forster. Oh, good tackling, Harris. Excellent tackle from the 1992 British Lions tourist.
Oh, this is a classic football game. Great attack. Wonderful cover defence by that man there, Graham Hallis. Boy, oh boy. This is real exciting stuff.
Litherland and Bentley. And he finds Wilson. Mark Preston wanted that, and Wilson loses the ball in the tackle. Such was the challenge from Alan Bateman.
Great tackle from Bateman. You could see there on the blind side of the referee, dragging the arm away. Very crafty, very professional, and got away with it.
Chambers. 6 handling errors. Halifax have made twice as many as Warrington. Mackey, well wrapped up this time by Gary Lord.
Ironic cheer there from the crowd, with Gary Lord actually tackling Mackey for once.
Dwayne Mann thought of a drop goal attempt and then gave it to Chambers. The ball has bounced off a Halifax player. Referee, I don't think he has. He now wipes the tackle count back to 0. But what a break this is from Penny. Lee Penny. Oh, he almost got the ball free. He's got it, has he? No, knock on. The ball came inside. It was hacked forward by Ellis, but the referee said it's a knock-on.
Wasted opportunity there, but it would have to be a forward pass, not a knock-on. That certainly didn't hit the hands of Forster. But what a break by Lee Penny. Start of the future, chiming into the back line. Just cut through them like a hot knife through butter.
Bishop, the dummy half, to McLean. And what a prospect Lee Penny is. His under-21 international debut in France in February, against France in February rather. Scored an 80-yard try that day. Half an hour gone. Warrington 22, Halifax 6. Plenty more points though, you get the feeling. We shall be watching on Sky Sports tonight. Bishop clips the ball over the top, and here's Penny again.
Well, both sides are playing as though their lives depended upon it.
Mark Forster thought he had a legitimate try just a few moments ago. He's going nowhere with those two round him, Roy Litherland and Graham Hallis.
Well, if this is the type of football that we're going to see when on sunny days, maybe summer football is the key.
Don't say that when you're standing too close to one Gary Schofield. The Great Britain captain is not in favour, as he's told us many times before. Neil Harmon now. That's a good ball to Bateman. And good tackling too from Mark Preston. Now Mackey. Oh, he saw there was no one there. That's invented stuff from Mackey. And he has got the support out wide. It's Rudd. Mackey's come up with the goods again for Chris Rudd. No wonder he's smiling. The Australian Greg Mackey ripping Halifax to shreds.
Stones Bit of Championship replay. I once said incorrectly that this man had a wonderful pair of brains. The way he's playing, I wish he had too. That was sensational stuff. The chip over, Halifax no sweeper. Chris Rudd in for the try. Oh, this is sweet. Like you're uncorking the champagne, because that's what we're watching. A beautiful long ball, bit high, but the professional man like Rudd takes it. Where's the sweeper? No one at home. He knows he can't make it himself. Sizes up the situation. The situation is this. We've run out of defenders. The result is 4 points.
Chris Rudd has now equalled his performance against Halifax last season, but what a game Greg Mackey is having. He's running the show for Warrington. Chris Rudd, 2 tries, 2 goals, 12 points, aiming to make it 14 for him personally. And you can see exactly how far he is away, but that's the angle he has. on the right side of the field for the right-footed kick. Given it plenty of chances, but misses this time. 3 from 5 then for Rudd. 26 points to 6.
See Mackey, that's the area he's kicking into. There's no sweeper. And the result is this. Super stuff. You can see that he didn't have the legs. This man had. Champagne stuff.
Bishop restarts again, and he finds the crowd almost for the second time in this match. Big mistake.
Well, the fans like instant replays. The man on your screen didn't like to do that, though. That was a replay that Halifax could ill afford.
Well, Paul Bishop, he began his career at Warrington. He scored 560 points for them. He played for Warrington against Halifax in that 86 Premiership final. He really should know every blade of grass here at Wilderspool with a record like that behind him. But he's obviously just got his sight slightly wrong at the moment. Harmon on the charge. Warrington are not content. They want more before half-time. They've had a purple patch. They're playing the runaround. They've got 4 more. That's Alan Bateman. Well, the tries are flowing. They just keep on coming. And if this had been a Warrington side earlier in the season, you'd say they're on their way to the title.
Stonesborough Championship replay, the double scissors. That's what it's all about. They chose to take the second man, which was this, Bateman. Excellent play. Man on the inside. Shelford back on the inside. The 2 double switches. The result is a try. And Halifax, they have just got no answer from it. This is what comes about by the double switch. They're mesmerised at this Halifax defence.
And the conversion attempt was good from Chris Rudd. 32 points to 6.
Just look at me run across. One going this way, another coming this way. It is wonderful stuff. The dummy first, the second dummy, the second runner. Bateman steps inside, reaches for the try.
This time Bishop hasn't found touch on the full. He made sure of that. He drilled it very low. Ellis picked it up, but unfortunately Ellis, well, he claims, I think here, that it was reefed away from him, stolen in the tackle.
No, I think he dropped
look like it.
Yeah, it dropped quite clearly there. Still, he's a halfback. He'll claim for anything.
Now Preston. Are we going to see something sensational from Preston? Not with tackling like that. Bateman and Penny combining to snuff Preston out and shuttle him into touch.
Excellent stuff. You use the touchline as an extra player. That's what they did. They left him the open ground. He did not have the speed. But good play by Preston to get so far. Cover defence excellent.
Mike, just looking at that scoreline, and it really does, I think, emphasise again, Warrington have been backs to the wall for much of this winter. They now know that the threat of relegation is lifted. I just wonder if the shackles have suddenly come off, and at the back of their mind, the players know, well, they're not going to go down. Let's toss it round with gay abandon.
Well, that could be the case, but also there'll be quite a few of those players that probably their contracts are up this season. They'll be looking to try to get that their signature on the contract paper. But they are playing scintillating stuff. But it's an amazing thing when this Greg Mackey, Kevin Ellis roadshow gets underway. If it clicks, it takes a good side to stop them.
This is the last tackle, and Warrington with the confidence to run it again here. Ball back in field to Dwayne Mann, to Mackey. Mackey finds Gary Chambers. He's got Paul Cullen. This is great stuff to watch. Chris Rudd gone for a hat-trick. He's still going Rudd. He's just held out. It's breathtaking, and that was the turnover. I think the first one we've had this afternoon. The turnover after 6 tackles. If nothing happens, no kick for touch, no try. Well, it means possession automatically turns over, and Warrington have now conceded a penalty for, I think, a high tackle here.
Yes, I think it's Gary Sanderson and Cullen coming through. Finished him off there. Richardson would have felt that. Just over the top of the shoulders. They've really got into it, especially Paul Cullen. The exchanges with the prop forward Carl Harrison from Halifax. There you'll see it. It's the left arm of Gary Sanderson slipping just over the shoulders. Rightly so, the referee David Atkin quick to give the penalty.
Gary Sanderson, the man who needs treatment before he is able to carry on. But the penalty count in this match makes interesting reading. That's the first that Halifax have received for that high tackle. Sanderson limps away, but how long will he be able to stay on? We're approaching half-time, and Malcolm really, I'm sure, will be anxious to get down to the dressing room here and give his team a piece of his mind. Mind you, what can Halifax have done to stop Warrington? Because, to be fair, this is going to be Warrington's best display of the season.
Yes, but they've been allowed to open up that football. They've been allowed to keep the ball away. Full credit to them. They've been running at the angles, as we mentioned, creating a break there. And that was a high one there. It was Gary Chambers swinging round the Australian Mike McLean. See it on the replay. A little bit silly there. They're losing their cool a little bit, Warrington, when they're in the driving seat. But Halifax have been their worst enemy. You've got to get off to a good start. And giving away two silly penalties won't help early in the game.
Well, that ball went out, but it touched a Warrington player on the way. And so it is the Halifax head and feet. Here it is. And he put his foot out. He was standing actually over the line. It was Neil Kenyon, the winger. But here comes Hallis. Hallis for Halifax. 32-6, we're into stoppage time in this first half. Gary Lord. Now Bishop. Litherland. Devorty. Bentley. Touch.
Preston had come on the inside. You'll see that Bentley looks out. Preston just couldn't get there. Not playing the best of football, Halifax. They've never really been allowed to get into this game. All credit to Warrington, they've controlled it. The two halfbacks, especially Greg Mackey.
Offside. Penalty Warrington. Halifax too keen to move up from the scrum.
It was John Bentley, the man that was singled out by David Atkin, the referee. And once again, a silly penalty to give away. Takes the pressure off Warrington. I get the impression, Eddie, that I think that Halifax have only been in the Warrington half 3 times.
They might take a bit of heart from the fact that they scored their 6 points on one of those journeys, but they will take no heart from that half-time scoreline. And there's the man who has ripped Halifax to shreds. 2 tries, he's had a hand in virtually everything that's been good about Warrington in this first half, and he's getting a standing ovation from the crowd as he makes his way to the dressing room at half-time. Confirmation that Warrington have had arguably their best 40 minutes of the season here at Wilderspool against Halifax. 2 tries for Mackey and Rudd, Bateman and Cullen, 4 goals for Chris Rudd, 32 points. Halifax's resistance amounts to 6. Bentley with the try and Bishop with the goal. Let's take a look at the statistics from this game. Well, needless to say, Halifax doing a touch more work in the tackling department. Scrums, 13 of them, just about level pegging. The penalties going Warrington's way in a big way. Handling errors 5-4. Halifax have made more, and the possession, well, almost twice as much. Warrington have seen the ball compared to Halifax. And Greg Mackey, the man who has tormented Halifax from the very first whistle here this afternoon, the Australian halfback, not missed a game this season. and has certainly shot to the top of the popularity poll in this part of the Northwest. So Halifax lining up for Warrington to restart here at Wilderspool, 40 minutes away from the end of this game, and Halifax, no doubt, with the words of their coach, Malcolm Reilly, ringing in their ears. We've had a man here wigging at the Halifax dressing room door, and needless to say, Mike Stevenson, Malcolm Reilly has read the riot act to his players.
He needed to, because that defensive quality, giving away too many silly penalties, doesn't look too happy, does he? But I think we'll see a different proposition from the Halifax side.
Good strong run from Mark Perrott right at the start of this second half. Southernwood wanting to get on with it quickly. Bishop, not the best pass in the world. Litherland, he made a complete hash of that. Oh, the ball went back, says the referee, and then he's given the knock-on against Devorty for wheeling it in, bringing the ball forward into his body.
Looks quite clear that Litherland did knock that ball forward. Well, it's deemed that Devorty did knock on, as you mentioned, Eddie, dragging it back. The pressure once again applying, and that's a bit late.
Gary Lord, the perpetrator, and Greg Mackey, the man who felt the full weight of it.
Well, you'll see very late this. There's Lord just throwing himself over the top. A flopper extraordinaire.
Chris Rudd's penalty takes Warrington to within 10 metres of the Halifax line. Here's Chambers. Southernwood and McLean working hard in defence to keep him out. Dwayne Mann to Sanderson. Good quick hands from Warrington again. Cullen with the pass. And the support arrived from, I suppose, inevitably, Greg Mackey. Oh, drop ball. Oh, he's given it. The try's been given to Dwayne Mann. Looked for a moment as though Mann had dropped the ball. He must have got enough downward pressure on it, though.
Well, he just threw the little dummy, just hovered there. Well, I think he thought that it'd look at the look of anguish on his face. Darts through. Well, the referee said it was a try, David Atkin. I have my doubts about it. The look at first on Dwayne Mann, the Warrington skipper, didn't look too impressive. Then the finger of David Atkin went down onto the ball, towards it, and the smile appeared on that man's face. That was woeful defence from Halifax.
You only need downward pressure on the ball, but it looked, well, from up here and on those replays as though Mann just bounced it. Referee David Atkin, though, was closer to it than all of us. And he has given the 4 points to Warrington. Dwayne Mann, now watch it here. Well, for me, he dropped it. But as they say, read it in the newspapers in the morning. It's another 4 to Warrington. He's given that plenty of leather, but he's missed it. 36-6 Warrington. Just the start Halifax didn't want.
Halifax expected the long ball from Mann. They were running that way. He goes this way, scores the try, albeit bouncy. Another 4 points.
Paul Cullen then to work the ball away from his own try line for Warrington, who have got a good record here against Halifax, it must be said. They have won 24 of the 31 League and Cup meetings between the two since the war, and they've won the last 6 against Halifax here at Wilderspool.
Well, that's not the start that Malcolm really would have wanted in that second half. I think we all expected a different proposition from the Halifax side in this second stanza. But to give away a try like that so easy and so early, going to make things difficult. Let's hope that Halifax don't stoop lower, let their heads drop.
Kick downfield, first bounce to Warren Wilson. Warren Wilson, the Halifax fullback. 22 games last season, 7 tries. Malcolm really signed him at Leeds when he was in charge at Headingley. Mark Perrott now for Halifax. We've got David Cooper and Adam Fogarty on the bench, Halifax. I wonder how long it'll be before Malcolm really elects to make a change or two. Harrison. And that's good play from Harrison. Turned well in the tackle, found Hallis. He's given it to Litherland. And has Litherland got the pace? Well, was the momentum stopped? No. Try. The momentum was not stopped. Litherland was able to slide his way over.
Stones bit of championship replay. Good support play. Lovely pass from Harrison. Graham Hallis went through. Good support play by Litherland. And yes, that's a try. As Eddie mentioned, he rolled right over. He was not stopped. But look at this pass from Harrison. Super stuff on the inside. Hallis just calms it down, draws in Lee Penny. The number 6, Litherland, goes all the way. You see the momentum keeps going. Never stopped there. Good position by David Atkins. Bit different here. I think he had the movement there. Either way, the 4 points is given.
That was Roy Litherland's first try of the season. While we were watching that, they took a quick conversion, did Halifax. They've doubled their score. Paul Bishop with the conversion right underneath the sticks. Here's Perrott again. Now Mike McLean. Halifax, a team of some recent tradition. Champions in 1986 under the Australian coach Chris Anderson. Hoping to revitalise their playing fortunes with Malcolm Reilly at the helm. And starting to throw the ball around now, which is good to see, but that is not good to see from the winger Richardson. He was shuttled into touch easily by Mark Forster.
Good play though by Forster. Let him go around him. There you can see him just holding him, giving him the option to go outside. Use the touchline as his friend.
Don't see many ponytails in rugby league.
Hope that wasn't a shot at me, Eddie.
But there's one of them, Gary Richardson, the Halifax winger. So the tries are still coming in this match, aren't they? Only had 7.5 minutes or thereabouts in the second half. We've had one at each end. And Warrington are looking for more. Rudd.
Good defence there by Hallis and Bishop.
Here's Harmon. Well, I know that the St Helens coaching duo of Frank Barrow and Mike McLennan are in the crowd here at Warrington this afternoon. And that's good play by Forster. He's found Kevin Ellis, and Ellis has gone all the way. Mike McLennan and Frank Barrow here to see Halifax, because Saints play them next Friday on Sky, and those two St Helens people must be full of hope.
The last tackle, the big kick from Greg Mackey. Richardson just allowed it to be there. The ball was put back inside by Rudd. And Ellis, well, I thought he'd bombed it there, should I say. I'm afraid Warren Wilson had no answer for the little step at the end. The combination, Ellis and Mackey, continue to just rip this Halifax defence apart. But they won't be pleased with that, because that was on the last tackle. They were waiting and allowed Warrington to regain possession.
Chris Rudd then about to attempt the conversion at Kevin Ellis's 4th try in 5 games. Brian Johnson is enjoying this match, the Warrington coach. And Rudd has kicked the extra 2. And these two sides have combined to give us 10 tries in 50 minutes of rich entertainment on Sky Sports tonight, and 42-12, 8 of them have gone Warrington's way. Well, that looked a forward pass behind his own try line by Kevin Ellis.
How's that for confidence, though? Brings heartache to the coaches, but Ellis really just fired off a 30-foot pass there, right in his in-goal area. Huge gamble he took.
We should say that Halifax are missing some big names today. Greg Austin, Brent Stewart, Mark Bailey, John Fieldhouse among them. But I doubt, honestly, even with the pressure, the presence of that quartet, whether Warrington could have been stopped in this sort of rampant move.
Well, they really are on fire, aren't they, Warrington? They've kept this ball alive. As we mentioned early in the first half, the way that Warrington was running the angles with the forwards, switching the ball back inside, especially close to the ruck at the play of the ball. They really have caught this Halifax defence snapping.
There's Gary Richardson, former Calder Valley amateur. Lord and Litherland, and now Preston. Through one. What speed from Preston. But what good defence from Warrington. Kenyon first in and Penny second. Well, they're so far in front, Warrington, but they still don't want to concede any more points to Halifax. It's the last tackle. Bishop will hoist a little kick. Well, it's a little grubber kick through, but too much behind it. Nothing's going right for Halifax.
You'll be disappointed with that. Bishop punching the ball through there, but really there was no support play, no one running onto it. It was easily left by the Warrington defence to go dead in goal.
Wayne Mann on his own from the dummy half spot, taking Warrington up to halfway. Ellis through another gap, but fortunately for Halifax, Mike McLean was there. Now Mackey, another kick forward. It's hacked on by Bateman. Warren Wilson just waited, wheeled it in, and then Cullen came steaming through and brought the full-back to ground.
Great tactics by Warrington there. They really are mixing and matching it, aren't they? Long balls out wide, switches of play, the little chip over the top. It's a nightmare for a defence.
Here's McLean again. That's a good ball from Southernwood. Bishop. But Halifax have got the penalty for the challenge by Mackey on Bishop. And a few words being exchanged.
Well, Southernwood gets it out to Bishop. You see Mackey coming through there. It was a real swinger. You've seen players get sent off for less than that. There you could see it. Swung Bishop right into it. And not surprisingly, bit of fisticuffs, a few words were exchanged. Mackey wanted to push the touch judge out of the way to try to get to that man.
Referee wants a word with Paul Cullen. In conversation with his touch judge, he's pulled the Warrington second rower to him.
Well, he's played it hard. Firstly, the opening exchanges with the prop forward Carl Harrison. Paul Cullen really has been fired up for this game. Brought off some real crunch tackles.
And after all the words from the referee, Halifax have the penalty.
Well, there you could see in the background, it was Paul Cullen that used his shoulder pretty high on the hooker, Roy Southernwood.
So Halifax in possession just under the post. Carl Harrison. That's how close Halifax are. Bishop switches direction of play to Devorty. Short ball to Graham Hallis, but Mackey, oh, man of the match performance from Greg Mackey, if ever I saw one. 15.5 minutes of this second half gone. Halifax in possession with Devorty. And Mackey there again to bring the big man Gary Devorty down. Harrison now, back to Bishop. Bishop! Try Paul Bishop! Halifax's third.
Stone's bit of championship replay. You'll see the big forward, Carl Harrison, bring the ball, the switch back inside. Something that Warrington's been doing so well. This time Halifax take the advantage. Good call there by the big prop forward. The blind side from Southernwood. Switch back inside. You could see the defence went. They followed the prop forward Harrison. The gap appeared. And Bishop, rightly so, going over for the 4 points. Good play.
Bishop then with this conversion attempt. Both sides have made changes. The coaches have adjusted their lineups as Bishop finds the mark. So Warrington 42, Halifax 18. 42 points to 18. 17.5 minutes of this second half has been played. Wilson's underneath the Chris Rudd kickoff.
Well, can we have an unbelievable fight back from Halifax? They haven't thrown the towel in, have they? And maybe Malcolm just sniffs the chance, bringing on the subs.
Adam Fogarty, there's Malcolm really, the Halifax coach. Adam Fogarty has come on, as I say. Fogarty, who was sent off with Lee Crooks in the match against Castleford last week. Had a date with the disciplinary committee midweek. Sending off was deemed sufficient. And so Fogarty can take his place in this match here at Wilderspool, the former heavyweight boxer. Bishop jinking, lovely little sidestep. Fogarty is the man in support with him. They still haven't got Bishop grounded. There's a bit of a real go here between Bishop and Mackey. It's been boiling for a few moments, and they're all getting involved in this. Oh, dear, dear me. The ugly side of the game. We've seen the pretty side with all the tries and the wonderful attacking skills of both sides, and now all this.
Well, that's a shame. It's been a brilliant game so far, but it has been boiling. There's been quite a few head-eye tackles. This was Bishop coming through. Now, I thought Bishop caught a half trip by one of the Warrington players as he made the break. I suspect it was Cullen that was trying to trip. Then Mackey came in, Bishop threw a left, Mackey threw a left. And then we saw, or just stopped before, I can assure you it was Roy Southernwood that came in with a right. Two lefts don't make a right, but it did then. There you can see a bit of claret coming from Mr. Mackey's ear. This is where Bishop takes a step and comes through, and I think you'll see Cullen there. Yeah, well, that probably would have been running through his mind that I've got away with that. And then he had Mackey to contend with.
And Greg Mackey gets 10 minutes in the sin bin. The Warrington crowd will disagree, and it will be a blemish on a superb performance from Mackey, and Paul Bishop is going too. 10 minutes to cool down the two scrum halves. The referee absolutely right. They both need time to let the tempers cool.
Well, it's so great to see referees now using the yellow card for foul play. At one time, they were frightened to death of using it. But that's the sensible thing. Let the boys have a little bit of a cool-down period. Well done, Mr. Atkin.
As a result of that argy-bargy, Warrington come up with the penalty, of course, presumably for the fact that Bishop threw the first punch midway through the second half. 42-18. Warrington and Halifax both down to 12 men. Warrington in possession. Penny, the acting halfback. Sanderson now. Of course, there are people who say it's not a good game unless there's a few punches thrown, but I personally don't like to see all that carrying on, Mike. Not when there's so much good to admire in a game like this.
Well, I'm in agreement with you there, Eddie. It's not so much to the fact that if the two guys were left on their own, too little left punches, that was a great take by Warren Wilson there on the replay. But it's when all the other players come in, that's when the problem starts.
Wilson was injured as he took that high kick. Went up with his legs flailing. But the play continues. Bentley drops it for Halifax. Warrington have it back courtesy of Mackey. And it's all getting just a touch frenetic and just a little fierce out there at the moment.
Well, it's not a game of tiddlywinks, but as you say, tempers are running high.
The mercury is rising. Sanderson to Rudd on the bounce.
One way to defuse the issue is to score a try.
Chambers. Big hit by Perrott. Chambers gets the ball away though to Mann. Then he finds Ellis, who finds Cullen, who in turn gives it to Kenyon. Good tackling, Mike McLean. Kevin Ellis. Richards is the runner. Basil Richards, some strength he has, doesn't he? Signed in June 1988 from an amateur club in Bradford. He's only had 6 full games for Warrington before this season.
Good take by the winger, Gary Richardson. Couldn't see what was coming at him, but he did the right thing. Arms up, dragged that ball in. Well positioned, well taken.
Now Devorty and Harrison. There's the last tackle for Halifax. Litherland will dump the ball in the Warrington half of the field and doesn't do a bad job either. Neil Kenyon must run it back at Halifax. Preston has moved in there to cut his options down with a bit of help from Bentley. Here's Richards again. And possession, level pegging in this second half after Warrington enjoyed such superiority in the second.
Good run there by
first, rather, sorry.
Good run by the substitute Basil Richards, really crunching against Carl Harrison. I think Harrison was surprised that he was bounced back so far.
Harmon with the ball to Sanderson. Sanderson on the charge. Support is there. Oh, great stuff from the second rower, but he should have released it. Warrington have gifted 4 points away, or have they? They've got Chris Rudd out here. They have Lee Penny, and Lee Penny scores. They just delayed the inevitable. It looked like the big second rower Sanderson had forfeited 4 points, but Lee Penny had other ideas.
Good try by Lee Penny. The Stones Bit of Championship replay. Beautiful pass from Cullen. His other second rower, Gary Sanderson, but really he bombed it, didn't he? He went for the glory and got dragged down. But a quick play the ball. He's screaming for the quick play the ball. Here it comes. Penny into the chimes in, the back line, throws the dummy. Not the best attempt by Graham Hallis in defence. And the talented fullback squeezes over for a try that really should have been a formality. if the second rower, Gary Sanderson, had done the right thing, drawn the full-back to score, but he went for the glory and didn't get it. Lee Penny did.
Rod has missed the conversion attempt. 46-18. And Gary Tees comes into the action for Gary Chambers, the prop forward. Warrington making another change. Remember, both sides down to 12 men. Bishop and Mackey in the sin bin. And just over 3 minutes of the sentence to serve. Tempers now seem to have cooled down, don't they?
Amazing what a try can do, but even though with a convincing scoreline, I'm sure that Ryan Johnson will have a few words to say to second rower Gary Sanderson.
Basil Richards running strongly since he came on. Career beset by injuries. Ellis is charged down and it bounced straight into Cullen's breadbasket, and this is Dwayne Mann, who has Ellis in support. Brushes off one but couldn't brush off the substitute Adam Fogarty. Dwayne Mann at dummy half, reverse pass to Cullen. He gives it to the second rower, Sanderson, and Sanderson again so close. Cullen, the dummy half. The fist came in from Graham Hallis. Oh, and Hallis, well, he's a silly boy for doing that. He's kicked the ball deep into the Warrington half of the field, way after the whistle's gone. He's lucky if he escapes this.
Well, he just took the gamble for it, didn't he? He looked miles offside to me, and then just after that, booted the ball downfield. They have more than one ball here at Warrington, thankfully. The ball boy just floated one across.
Could have been seen by the referee as time wasting, though, couldn't it? Ungentlemanly conduct at the very least.
Yes, he could have found himself in the sin bin. Oh, and it's getting all nasty now. Losing his cool, petulance by kicking the ball downfield a few seconds before that. Substitute Basil Richards. He's strong. There you can see, just throwing the elbow into Richards' face. There's no point in it. Professional footballers, surely, come on.
Yes, using the elbow is referee Atkins' decision. So penalty, Warrington.
I can't wait up, Eddie. Two get sin bin for throwing a punch. One uses the elbow with the man's down on the floor, still on the field.
This is Dwayne Mann. That's better defence from Warrington, Gary Devorty. From Halifax, Gary Devorty rather. And this is the substitute, Gary Tees. Now Ellis. And Sanderson again. He fancies a try, doesn't he? Shelford. Ellis again. Ellis through the gap. Ellis! Ooh, just held up short. Dwayne Mann. Back to Sanderson. Good mother tackling coming in there. Here's Basil Richards. Richards with the strength. Can he grab the ball? Yes, he can. Basil Richards off the bench for the try. And Warrington hit the half-century.
That was a bit of championship replay. Good move on the blind side by Dwayne Mann. Substitute Basil Richards. Shows all the strength that he's shown since he came on as a sub. A few seconds before this, got a nice one in the face with an elbow. This is the best way to repay them. And I'm afraid that this effort will be shown by the Halifax coach, Malcolm Reilly, to his players on more than just the odd occasion. That was not the best attempt at defence I've seen this season, but he doesn't care. The smile says it all.
It's his first try of the campaign. Mackey and Bishop have come back on from the sin bin, and this now is Warrington's best win of the season, and at the moment it's Halifax's worst defeat of the season. Rudd has missed a few today, but when you're running in tries at this rate, who cares? His coach might, and I'm sure he will too. Bishop's back, Mackey's back. 50 points though for Warrington, and 10 tries. Richards. Well, big smile on his face a while ago. The look this time really does say it all.
The ups and downs of a rugby league footballer. Penthouse 1 minute, basement the next.
Halifax's head and feed. Roy Litherland back to John Bentley. Litherland for the return. Over the top, Hallis. And between them, Hallis and Richardson made a right mess of it, and then so does Forster. So Halifax have it back. Devorty. Still Devorty. Well, it's been rich entertainment, hasn't it, from these two sides? Mistakes are plenty, plenty of tries. And what's gone on here? Tees kicked the ball away. Devorty says, I think the ball was stolen from him. And Gary Tees a bit petulant here. And he certainly stole it, Mike.
No doubt about it. Gary Tees there. Petulance also from him. Kicking the ball away. Warrington players, they do well not to get involved here. Going into the last few minutes. They've won this game. They've got winning pay. No point in doing anything stupid and getting sent off.
Quite a welcoming committee for Neil Harmon, and Halifax working overtime in the tackling. An indication really of just how much ball Warrington have seen. Lovely play from Shelford to Mann. He spreads it further wide to Richards. He gives it to Ellis, and Ellis has given it to Kenyon. Can Kenyon beat Preston for speed? No. But they've got head and feet from the scrum, have Warrington.
Kenyon got the ball back inside there, and you could see John Bentley just get the left boot to it, ensure that it went in. Well, the referee, David Atkin, has overruled the touch judge. The touch judge definitely gave Warrington the head in the feed.
Must have decided it was a Warrington knock-on then, eh? Nothing to choose in the scrum count, is there? But plenty between the two sides on the scoreboard, 50-18. Halifax trying to do something about that. Mark Preston weaving his way inside. A big collision with Shelford. He gets the ball away though to Richardson. And Richardson eventually halted by Lee Penny, with a bit of help from Mark Forster. Bishop, Harrison. Still going Harrison. Couldn't get the ball away. Southernwood did to Bishop. He did to McLean. Last tackle. Southernwood back to Bishop, who will hoist. And midfield bomb. It touched a Warrington player. So play on, because it went backwards. Kenyon on his own line.
Been a tremendous effort. You see the replay there. That was play on. Rightly so, but Kenyon came to the rescue. They'll be very pleased with Warrington, the way that they played. Forwards running at the angles, creating the gaps. But really it has been down to that man, Greg Mackey. Not less so in the number 6 shirt, Kevin Ellis. Their combination has been superb. But Mackey just crucified them in the opening 20 minutes.
Warren Wilson thought the better of going for that first time. Cullen was in quickly and has been penalised for the challenge on Warren Wilson. Head high.
Well, he's gone pretty close as the second rower quite a few times in this game. Looks at the referee and says, "Oh, me."
Fogarty. McLean. Halifax keep coming forward, looking for more consolation from this. The penalty count against them. Devorty, that's good play to Bishop. And that's, well, I was going to say that's got to be a knock on, but the referee said it went backwards. And so Warrington were able to carry it on. Penny with the run. Now, was this a knock on?
Well, that went backwards. That looked forward. Going, I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, how do you expect the referee to know? Ellis to Cullen, to Penny. Gary Teams has tackled.
Full-back Lee Penny caught one in the back play.
Lovely chip over the top by Shelford. Out this way to Rudd. Infield to Forster. Can he get there? He can. Warrington's 11th try of a superb performance by this team. And they have posted their intentions. They want a place in the Premiership.
Excellent play. We said they were mixing the game. The Stones bit of championship replay. Sees a loose forward, Kelly Shelford. Chip over, regather. Rudd back inside. Forster in for the try. But once again, I'm afraid the defence not too brilliant. No sweeper. The smile again says something, doesn't it? Mark Forster happy with that one.
But of concern to Warrington is the fact that Lee Penny has just picked himself up, and he must have got a knee there from John Bentley as he meant to play the ball, and it knocked him stone cold out.
Clearly an accident. Bentley trying to reef the ball back at the play the ball. Penny, of course, bending forward. Made the contact. That's painful.
Rudd then, 50% success rate. He's trying to improve it. Off the touchline, it does. But he's missed easier ones than that today. The 56-18.
Excellent play, though. You'll see the ball go through Shelford. Move it on. Let it go there, over the top. Excellent play. There's no sweeper there. That's a couple of times that they've got this Halifax defence back inside. He has the strength. Beautiful try.
Been exposed a bit on defence today, Halifax, haven't they? And Gary Lord has returned for Halifax. And it's Mike McLean, the Aussie, who's gone off. And there's a mistake from Dwayne Mann. Knows it's a mistake late in the game. Match one. Lack of concentration.
Well, it was an opted ball out wide. Not the best of passes. One of the very few mistakes from the hooker, Dwayne Mann. He's had a hard game. Led by example. Really has control of the dummy half position.
Litherland. Oh, and they went for the interception. Bentley has a clear run to the line. That's another try. Well, if you... Oh, and Bentley's twisted an ankle as he touched that down. But if you like your tries coming thick and fast, Sky Sports Big League's the place. Seconds for John Bentley.
Well, late in the game, and really when you think about it, the Stones bit of championship replay, we'll see they opted for the interception. It didn't come off. Getting a little bit more like touch and pass now, defence, and there you saw Bentley just twist over. Nice switch of play though, went that way, went the blind. Litherland decided to take the long ball out wide. You could see that Lee Penny went for the intercept, left a huge gap for this man to score the try. Defence has become secondary now.
John Bentley's 16th try of the season. The big league's 15th try of the match. Bishop 100% with the kicking. Should maintain that record here, and does. 56-24. There's the full-time siren. A great win for Warrington. An excellent win. They ran in 11 tries. The conversation between Ellis and Neil Kenyon continues. Shake hands all round. Great win for Warrington, and a great win and a great performance from Greg Mackey, the Australian. All the grievances on the pitch now forgotten. They'll meet up again in the bar, and Warrington on their way to the Premiership. So an excellent win for Warrington, 56 points to 24. 4,500 here, and no doubt many, many thousands more around the country. Thrilling to Warrington's performance. No doubt about it. Greg Mackey was the man of the match, and I spoke to him afterwards. Greg Mackey, a tremendous performance from the team and an excellent performance individually from you.
Yeah, I was pleased. That was a great result. 11 tries by the team. Nothing went wrong in the first half. I couldn't believe it. It was good atmosphere to be in. All the things that we've worked on seem to come into play.
Well, everything you touched in that first half came off for you, didn't it?
Yeah, I was a bit amazed myself. Some of them days I wish they come more often, but they don't. But that was a great performance, and I was really happy.
You had a heck of an influence on the match, despite the fact that you spent 10 minutes on the bench in the sin bin.
Yeah, me and Bish, we spent 10 minutes in the bin, an ex-Warrington boy, so that's the way it goes.
Well, it is, but I mean, what was going on there? It seemed to me at that stage that the match was getting a little out of control.
Yeah, probably they were a bit frustrated and might have had a go at us, but then again, we probably didn't want to take a backward step, so we probably reacted, and in my case, a little bit more than I should have. But, I thought he was going to get up and play the ball, so I tried to put him down again, and that started all hell break with the end, didn't it?
But now you're still on course for this Premiership. You must fancy your chances if you can turn this on week after week.
Oh, obviously, if you can do that week after week, you're a chance. But, we're still paying for our mistakes earlier on in the season, but this is one way of making up for it.
We'll confirm that Warrington are in the top 8 in a few moments' time. Team tackling Halifax having to do a lot of work. Scrums level pegging. Penalties 10-4 in Warrington's favour. Handling errors. Halifax made 2 more. And the possession statistic, well, that really does tell its own story, doesn't it? So 15 tries in this match. Wonderful entertainment here at Wilderspool. And Brian Johnson, the Warrington coach, saying before the game he was hell-bent on getting his team into a place in the top 8 for a crack at the Premiership this season. And Mike Stevenson, if he continues to turn out a team that plays like that, they've got every chance.
It was an excellent performance from them, and I'm sure that the coach will be highly delighted. It was the manner that they came out. They came out with all the guns blazing. They never allowed Halifax to get into the game. Halifax gave away some very early penalties, which really put them on the back foot. And once Greg Mackey took over, it was all over very early in the game.
Halifax now face St Helens on Sky next Friday night. They'll have to get their act together before then, won't they?
I think that at training this week, Malcolm really will rip a lot of shreds off them, because their defence was absolutely atrocious at certain times, especially late in the game. But when it really counted in the first 20 minutes, they missed a lot of tackles, and I'm sure that they'll be working very hard on that. They've been playing exceptionally well. This is a real big setback for them.
Let's confirm the results from this weekend then in the First Division. St Helens on Friday on Sky Sports winning. Sheffield Eagles beating Bradford also on Friday night. Warrington's big win today. Hull 20, Lee 36, and Wigan 70, Salford 6, 5 tries and a goal for Martin Afire, 4 tries for Sean Edwards. He now has 41 for the season. The top of the table, Wigan clear leaders, 2 points ahead of St Helens. It's all boiling down to the Good Friday showdown at Central Park, and Warrington confirmed there they have moved now into the top 8 into Premiership contention. Down at the bottom, what a job Steve Sims is doing at Lee. They have moved right out of any relegation threat, had there been any relegation this season, and they're proving that they could have stayed up on their own accord. To the second division, Bramley 14, Rochdale 30, London Crusaders 31, Huddersfield 17, good win for London. Oldham 24, Featherstone the champions 22. Or are they to be the champions? We shall find out as the weeks unfold. And Swinton 18, Carlisle 19. Featherstone out in front at the top. They are 6 points clear of Oldham, but those two certainly will be in the big league next season. Division 3, Batley 24, Highfield 5. Good effort from Highfield. Blackpool 14, Hunslet 42. Chorley 8, Whitehaven 36. Keighley 33, Dewsbury 24. Nottingham 24, Doncaster 25. Good effort from them too. And Rydal York 16, Workington 12. Top of the table, really tight there, isn't it? Workington, Keighley, Whitehaven, Dewsbury, who will be champions? And down at the bottom, big efforts from Nottingham and Highfield, but they stay in trouble. Chorley too. Don't forget, 3 of those 5 teams will drop out of the championship next season. The big league next week then, Friday night, it's Halifax against St Helens at Thrum Hall on Friday at 7, and on Sunday we shall be at Lee for the visit of the Challenge Cup finalists, Widnes.
The Stones Better Championship, taking rugby into a different league.
WrestleMania 9 live.